Hey, dude, who do we have today?
Dude, we have Eric Brown in Ohio. He's freaking awesome. He's going to show us how to master agency processes, double the production with half the staff.
Let's do this.
Welcome to the Insurance Dudes, a podcast for insurance agency owners, helping us to think of different ways to optimize our business and our lives.
Look at this. Are we getting like a smoke entrance? I want smoke and lasers right now.
That would be great.
Wouldn't that be good?
Is that a map of the old world?
Where's the intro music? Oh, I'm gonna cue up intro music.
Bum 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 bum. Now we're alienating all of the non-Star Wars fans.
I love the build-up right now. I'm feeling it.
Anticipation?
Yeah, anticipation. This is great. He's a good salesman.
It might be a deuce. I forgot to ask him, but we're recording.
This is going to be a good intro, by the way.
Yeah, I mean. Okay, I'll peruse the wall.
There's
Is that a
nothing.
Pez dispenser up there?
Oh,
What's next to the Goonies map? What is that? Next to the Goonies map? Yeah.
that's the key from the movie.
From what movie? From Goonies?
From Goonies. Eric,
What's up, guys?
how you doing?
Good, man. How are you?
Good, dude. So you came on, it was just your office, and I was like, dude, this is going to be a rad intro. So we're going to cue up some intro music. I was thinking
no.
smoke and lasers.
Yeah,
Right?
we wanted smoke and lasers.
Well, so did Dr. Evil.
Ooh.
Freaking sharks with freaking laser beams.
Right. Right, exactly. So, but unfortunately, you're going to have to settle for me.
Dude, you're doing webinars and podcasts nonstop these days.
Yeah, my schedule's been pretty busy. I don't know what the deal is. For some reason, I think it's because I say the F word a lot and it makes people laugh. I don't know.
You're rocking the tribe. You're rocking ASA.
Well,
Right.
yeah, and I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't say that I'm rocking it. I just, they invited me out to come talk, and I was super honored to do it. I don't know. It's just, dude, it's just that thing, man. When you get in that groove and you're able to help people, that's your duty to help. You know what I mean? Like you should do something every day to lift somebody else up. So,
Yep.
You sound
No,
like
it's
Dave
awesome.
Williams.
dude, I tell you what, man, that dude he's awesome. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yep.
So inspiring.
Hashtag
Yeah.
Inspire a Nation.
Right. I know. I was super down. He reached out to me to do his that day challenge for his brother passing, and I was all set to do it, and a bunch of stuff went down that week, and my week just it completely got away from me, and I wasn't able to get it done. So I have a makeup day to make sure I
Yeah,
still
just
get
do
it.
it anyway. I did it the day after.
Yeah, and that's what I'm gonna have to do. So, but I'm still committed to getting it done for him.
Yeah, same
That's
here.
awesome.
I was gone. And I was off the grid. And I was like, oh crap. But
Yep.
yeah, I'm with you on that.
Yeah. So but hey, exciting times.
Exciting times. How's the agency going?
So far so good. I mean, you guys have seen. I stole some advice from my boy Jay Atkins there. He says, take massive action, and I think I took about the most massive action anybody could take concerning my agency. So hey, we're getting there.
Can we talk about that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Let's talk about that.
We don't have to talk about the knee bending part.
Right.
Oops.
So
That's just a Game of Thrones reference. So, yeah.
right. It's okay. I'm not a Game of Thrones guy.
I'm not either.
But it's okay. I get where you're going with it.
Yeah. So, it's just a joke. All in good fun. All in good
Right.
fun. So, yeah. How did that work out, or how has that worked out integrating Stephanie into your agency, having her come in? I mean, that's some pretty powerful credentials. and
Yes.
a huge land. I remember when you told me, and I was like, what?
Right. Yeah. No, and that's exactly it, man. She's been an absolute game changer. It's one of those things of you can't pass up the opportunity. So when that opportunity presented itself, I absolutely had to take it. Dude, she's been a game changer. I mean, everybody kind of knows her legend. Anybody that spoke to her or at least knows her name, and I can tell you it is absolutely true. I've never met a coach better than her. And she's just overnight. I mean, she came in and instantly changed the culture of the agency.
That's
Awesome. Yeah,
So-
talk about details of that, because everybody thinks that there's a silver bullet with an agency or sales or anything, right? And it all comes down to processes and actually actionable things that we can do. So what does she do?
So you guys are going to have her on, so I don't want to steal her thunder. But just from what I see from like kind of a high level looking down, she is relentless. I mean, she doesn't let off the gas all day long. I mean, she beats me into the office every single day. Normally I'm driving to work and she's already, texting me like, hey, I need to log into this. What's your password? Or, whatever. And I'm like, holy crap, man. Like, all right, hold on. I'm getting there. She's the first one here and the last one to leave every single day. And she is on my staff. If they don't one call close a prospect, she makes them download the phone call and send it to her so she can listen to it and coach them on it. So every single call that they get on, if they don't one call close it, yep, every single call. If they don't one call close it, they have to download it and send it to her. And and then she'll go through it. She knows what to look for. And she immediately coaches them on it. And that's the thing. I mean, as soon as like she's online listening to their calls live as they're going on, which with the VoIP systems, everybody has that capability. So if you're not doing that, I guess my question would be why? I know my answer at least was because as an agency owner, you get bogged down and you're like, oh, I'm too busy. But then when the numbers start to slide, it's nobody's fault but our own. So you have two choices. Either you make the time, you let your agency fail, or you hire somebody that's their sole responsibility in life. But just in the impact she's had in 2 weeks with me now, the cost, the additional cost of having somebody on staff to do that is easily going to be paid for by the increase in production.
That's awesome. How have you changed?
I feel useless for the first time in my life. So no, you know what though, and actually it's a good. So I read every single morning, right? So I'm a huge proponent. I think you should read a book every day. And so the best advice I got was read 13 pages every day. Because if you read 13 pages a day, it's something like 80 books a year that you'll end up reading. It's insane.
Wow.
So that's what I've been doing. And I had just finished in May, I had just finished what's the Extreme Ownership from
Jocko
Willink. Yeah. And so, he talks in there about leadership. And he's like, if you're a leader and your team needs you, you're a horrible leader. Like you have failed. If your team needs you, you have completely missed the mark. Your team should want you, but they should never need you, right? And so up until this point, over the last 15, 16 months of growing my agency, I always felt like my team needed me. If I was gone, it felt like my office was sort of falling apart, and stuff like that. And so I restructured here in the last 2 weeks. I moved Nicole, who is here in my office, I moved her over to service. So she is my service manager and the actual office manager, just managing like day-to-day operations, which is she is phenomenal. Anybody that's emailed me, texted me, messaged me, stuff like that, normally you get a response from Nicole. So she is phenomenal, making sure I get where I need to be when I need to be there, and making sure that my customers are taken care of and the agency's running smooth. And then Stephanie came in, took over the sales team, coaching, leads, analyzing leads, all that kind of stuff from me. And so for the first time, it's been weird walking around and you like pop in and ask Stephanie, say, hey, what do you need from me? Nothing. Okay. then you go in and you talk to Nicole, like, Nicole, man, what do you need? Nothing. Go talk to my sales team. Like, hey, what can I do for you guys? And they're like, nothing. And I'm like, well, damn, I mean, like, what do I do? So now, yeah, legit, like now my focus can be on actually setting the vision and growing the agency.
That's awesome.
So with, this is interesting because with Nicole, she was a good producer, like writing a lot of business.
Yeah. She would, I would say above average, but she was consistent, man. She was my rock. So, you know, that's hard when you make that transition and you pull somebody that consistently delivers results and you say, okay, you know what, I'm going to do something else with you. That's a tough call to make. But
did you assess her?
No, she started with me probably 3 weeks after I unlocked my doors.
I'd be curious to see her assessment, but what I've seen a lot of, and what I think is important is having those sales personalities in the service arena, because at the end of the day, they're still sales, right? It's a different kind of sales. But if you can have the person at the top being the sales manager, a really strong salesperson, then they're creating that culture in your service team, right? When it's so clear. I mean, we write, half our stuff is from service calls, right? Half of the items we write in this place is service calls. I mean, that's gimmies, and we need those, right?
Yep.
We won't get into the challenges with the other thing, but the hot topic, but yeah.
Right. So yeah, it's been a good transition. Like I said, we're only actually about a week and a half into it now, but I'm curious to see. I think June's shaping up. It is already. It's shaping up to be our best month we've ever put on the books. And you know, realistically, we're down to about 2.5 LSPs, and they'll outright back when I had 6. So
wow.
you know, yeah. So it's starting to kind of come around. And now I'm excited because we've got a couple other prospects in the pipeline, and that's where, you know, that sales strengths identifier, that's been huge, is because it's so easy. It's so easy to integrate into my hiring. And as soon as they get on and they complete that assessment, boom, it comes to me, it goes to Stephanie, and she just goes through, and there is a legitimate numerical value put on every single strength. And so she can just run through it, say, you know what, this person's strong, this person isn't. I'm going to call this person. I'm not going to call this one. So we've made some hires. We got people licensing, and I'm like, man, you know, if my staff is going to write what they're trending for this month already with just 2 people, and I add 2 more, we're going to be killing it. So
that's great, man. And you got to build a solid foundation to bring new people into. So it's way better to start with a strong base and build upon that.
Yep. And that's what was tough. Like this year, I wiped out my agency. You know, I walked in January 1st with 8 staff members and took it down to 3. So but you know, and that's it. I mean, you got to build that strong foundation and build it back up.
That's it, man. And the stronger the foundation, to your point, and like the way you've hired, and you do have extra people that are now assisting the sales and all this stuff. I mean, talk about building a strong foundation. And to your point, if they're writing what 6 people did, imagine each person's going to substantially help.
Yeah. And that's it. I mean, you know, you talk about, you get each producer writing $45,000, $50,000 a month. You know, I mean, with 4 producers, you're writing $200,000 in premium a month. I mean, that's huge, especially in Ohio, because Ohio, like you know, Craig, in Arizona, man, I think you guys are right there with us in your cost and premium. I mean, having low premium states is rough, because you have to write a ton of business to get that premium up there.
Yeah. Sometimes I long for Texas.
I know, right? I know. I talk to Anthony all the time, and you know, I have to write double the items he does to equal his premium.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
But it could also be challenging on that close with it's just something else. It is something else. Sorry, you go, Jay.
Sorry. So a lot of agencies, you know, we start with, we're doing all the work, right? Then you have like 1 or 2 people helping you, and you're always that piece that you're talking about. You're that piece that kind of the glue that holds it together. So I think one of the biggest challenges for me when I started going out of that was like, how do you build that? And what metrics are you holding people accountable to on all ends, whether it be service or sales or like what is the exact process to follow? And I think that could help a lot of people get out of that mindset of I have to be here. Like I have to do everything.
Right. So, I like to leverage as much knowledge as I can from other agents. So just FYI, disclaimer, none of these are original Eric Brown ideas. These are all filtered from other people. But, so you just reach out to where people's strengths are. I mean, when I started, I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm going to revamp service, and we're going to tear it down, and we're going to completely, because when you looked at service and I'm like, okay, I'm retaining it at 82, 83% on my book. If I can bump that up to 90% on 7%, even on $1 million in premium, you know what I mean? Like you're talking what, $70,000 that you don't have to write now. Like that's huge. So, being able to do stuff like that. So like I reached out to Laura Harris, I'm like, let's reach out to the process queen, because arguably there's nobody better in the service game. And so I reached out to her and I'm like, man, hey, what can you help me with? Give me some ideas and some advice. And so, she gave me stuff like, looking at the averages of how many reviews each of your service staff can get done on a daily basis. So like implementing those minimums on my sales staff, I have minimum, and I think all of us have that, right? We have minimum performance qualifiers on sales staff. So you got to make this many outbound phone calls, this much talk time, this many quotes. And those are metrics to hold them accountable to. But what do we do for service? Right? We're like, oh, just go love our customer. That's it, period, end of story. Right? And we just kind of leave it open. Well, how do you measure that? So like now we implemented, you have to do an average of 3 to 4 reviews every single day. So if you don't do any on Monday because the phone's ringing off the hook, then you've got to pick it up somewhere else in the rest of the week. And that's a minimum. You know what I mean? Like that is the bare minimum to keep your job, is you need to be doing 3 to 4 every single day. So looking at that, incentivizing my service staff now, we're paying them bonuses for leads, or for every item that they transfer to the sales team over 10 items. So, and we just tiered it, just like a lot of people tier their LSP's commissions. We're like, hey, we'll pay you $8 per item that you transfer over to sales after you get 10 items. And it's retroactive all the way back to the first one. And then once you get to 15 items, we pay you $10 an item. And once you get to 20 items, we'll pay you $12 an item. And then once you get to 25 items, and we just kept ramping it up until you get to 40 items. And so imagine if you have 2 service people, right? If they're each transferring 40 items to sales every single month, and you have 2 service people, that's 80 items a month. So even if you're paying them a bonus on transferring those over, what would you be paying for leads that are closing at 60% from a lead vendor, right? You'd be paying, oh my God, everybody probably be willing to pay $50 a lead for that easily. So why aren't we giving that to our service staff?
And how much more do those clients stick when they have their buddies that are at the same agency and it's like,
right. Yeah. So now I've got clients that, I'm increasing my bundling rate, which, because I'm enhanced compensation, so I don't get that broad in your book, for the Allstate agents yet. But, if you're off of enhanced compensation, you're going to get that broad in your book bonus. You're driving your retention numbers up. We're starting to get life cross sells. And we're starting to get all this stuff. And so those customers are retaining better. We're getting more referrals. We're taking care of whole households. So you're solving so many problems.
Yeah. And you're out reading books.
That's it. Read books, meditate daily, man.
Awesome. Where are you at in your agency? What year?
I'm in month 19. Just started my 19th month in business.
What's the ECP length in Ohio?
44 months.
44?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I still got a decent time left. And then we were going to try and open our second ECP this summer. But again, Laura told me, she's like, hey man, don't scale chaos. You know what I mean? So I'm like, that's a good point. So we choked back on that. But, and I let the mothership know. I was like, hey, look, I don't think I'm ready to open my ECP yet, which they stepped back, because I think I'm probably the first agent that ever told them that of, hey, let's pump.
I did the same thing this year.
Right. So we pumped the brakes a little bit, and but I'm like, let's get these processes put so that when I open those doors on the second location, man, it's like lightning. It'll be like a shotgun blast coming off.
Totally. Now, do you have everything in a process manual?
We do. Yep. Everything. I mean, from the way that you answer the phone to checking voicemails to onboarding customers, all of it, every single thing is in there.
Awesome. And that's obviously an evolving thing.
Yep. Yeah. As we get new technology, obviously it starts to evolve. And then now, like, I'm rewriting it again because now with the addition of Stephanie, she took a lot of processes away from other people. So, it's all right. You got to make some changes.
No, it's good. The process manual thing, we've always had it kind of all separate. So now we're really making a cohesive one in the agency, and it really is a game changer when every question is answered on A, how to do it, and B, where to find it, right? Then there's and expectations. I think expectations are huge for everybody to be very clear.
And that's the thing I noticed too, a lot on, like, when people hire, the big changes I made to hiring. One was seeing how, like, again, once you sign up for, like, the sales strengths identifier, right? You get that hiring manual, or interview manual, this one right here that sits on my desk. So it literally sits next to my phone. What's that?
I didn't have to ask for it.
No, well, it sits next to my phone because every once in a while you get a person that calls in, hey, you hiring? Yeah, great. Let's talk real quick. And I just run it right there. And, but, doing your whole thing there at the end when you're like, man, you know what? The interview's gone great. You sound great. Seem like a great kid. I just don't think you're a right fit for this agency. And just see what they do. That's been huge. So, like, actually,
I like that move.
Yeah, and I think the problem is, yeah, it is. It's real hard, but I think the problem is too many agency owners sell their agency to the candidate. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, we come off in the interview, we're like, oh, but this is such a great place to work, and we do this and we do that, and and so when the candidate comes in and it's not all roses and unicorns and Disneyland like you described it, they're like, well, wait a second. This is nothing like what you made it out to be. This is hard. So just setting those expectations up front of, like, this is hard. Like, you've got to want it, sell yourself to me. And then being, like you said, Jason, man, being super clear on the expectations of, like, look, we have a rolling average for sales. If over a 2-month rolling average, you ever fall below 25 items, you're fired. 24 items, pack your desk and go. There's no gray area. There's no reprieve. It is what it is. It is a measurable metric that you have to stay above.
Well, dude, and 25 items, I mean, if they're not hitting that, they're in the wrong spot.
Right, but how often?
Premium, right?
And I almost put that into place to hold myself accountable, because I don't know how you guys are. Like, I love everybody. I come into work and I'll be like, hey, where's that new guy I hired 2 weeks ago? And like, everybody will be like, well, we fired him, like, last week. I'm like, oh no, I really liked him. And they'll be like, bro, he couldn't sell anything. He sucked, And I think too long we'll pull people along because we're under the impression we have to just fill seats to fill seats. And we're like, well, this guy has a pulse and can fog a mirror. So, staff. And we think we can, like, try and raise the work ethic. But 25 items is just work ethic. There's not, like, you don't need any skill to sell 25 items. Like, that's just picking up the phone and making the dials. Yeah. So, if you can't hit that, you're just not even coming in and trying.
Yeah, true.
So, So I put that in almost for myself and not for them. Like, if they fall below 25 items, that's my signal that I need to let them go.
You hit a really important point about selling the agency to the employment candidate versus the other way around. And it really is this dichotomy where agents typically aren't going to be looking or hiring until they need, right? And then when they need, because they're firefighting. They're not the
Right.
fire captain, they're the firefighter, and they're
Yep.
putting out all the fires. I don't have time. I can't do it. But just like your book reading, 13 pages a day, you get however many books that is. In the same way, 2 hours a week of screening candidates, 2 hours. Like everybody can find 2 hours.
Yep.
You easily jerk around doing something else. If you put it on your calendar, you're hard and fast, and it's your rule, and you hold yourself accountable to it, you get to those candidates, and then you become that person who isn't hiring out of need, right? Because you can be more selective. Hey, look, I got 5 coming in, or I have 5 I'm talking to. Some weeks I'll have none. I'll have none. Some weeks I have more. It averages out to about 2 hours a week. But you're always talking to them. And, I've heard from so many agents also, well, I can't do that because I don't have a spot. And it's like, you're not going to find somebody, right?
Okay, so wait. Let me address that real quick, because somebody actually just said that to me the other day. I'm like, dude, you need to be recruiting. And they're like, well, I don't have any open spots. Here's the thing. I didn't have an open spot for a sales manager, right?
Right.
And so if you're the owner of the Golden State Warriors, when they're winning all these championships, and LeBron James in his prime comes over to your team and is like, hey man, I want to join Steph Curry and all these guys. Can you find a spot for me? Dude, if you're the owner of Golden State, you're like, dude, I will, no more seats in the locker room. Like, like we're selling towels. We're doing whatever we can to afford you, bro. Like, I will make room. And so that's
he'll pay for himself, right? Like his or herself. You bring on a killer. You bring on, Stephanie's paid for herself in 2 weeks.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
For her, for $500,000 salary.
And the thing too to think about on that is, like, on day one, she comes in, and, at 19 months in business, I would say, I think anybody that's 19 months in would probably be like, dude, you're crazy. You don't need a sales manager. You know what I mean? You're 19 months in business. But, like, think about all the things that they have dropped the ball on training us on that we don't know, that somebody with her amount of experience knows. So, like, in day one, she came in and showed me how to mine 6,000 leads out of my current book. So she added 6,000 leads into my CRM from my current book of business. And I'm like, holy crap, man. Like, those are just audits and reports that I never knew existed, that I didn't know how to run. And so, again, what would you pay for 6,000 leads? You know what I mean? Like, totally. So if you start kind of looking at the cost that way, it actually becomes very doable. But so just like to your point, if just because you don't have a spot for somebody, man, never stop looking, because when a rock star presents themselves, like, you make room. You figure out how to make it work. Like, I'll work out of the broom closet and give somebody my office if that's what it takes. I will make room for you.
And, you have somebody you have to get rid of that you weren't expecting, right? You find out somebody writing bad business or whatever, there's that lag time. And because we love everybody, you and I are similar. I love everybody. Yep. And it's just like, it's a killer when somebody turns on you, and so then you have that open spot. If you don't have if you don't have a bullpen, if people to potentially reach into, you're 3 months out. Yep. And that person that you get, you're making a lot of concessions, because they can fog a mirror and they have a license, and you go, all right, I'll bring them on. I know that she seems a little wonky, but let's do it anyway. And then 3 months later, you're like, well, I just spent $8,000 and I have to fire her.
Yep. And you're thousands into that person. You're thousands of dollars. When you tolerate workers' comp and salary and taxes and training and everything, man, you're thousands into a hire. Like, right. So absolutely. And on the recruiting 2 hours a week, dude, it's nothing. Like, I gave you my email address to set up on that assessment for my cell phone, because think about where you sit and you generally Facebook all week long, right? And so I was like, you know what? When I'm sitting in the executive office, if you know what I mean, on my throne, I'm like, I'm going to look at assessments rather than Facebook. And dude, and it's surprising how much time you have. So, like, I would never actually take away from my work time to look at those assessments. I'd look at them while I was kind of breaking.
Yeah. Well, and it takes 2 seconds, right? You pull it up, you boop, bad. Next one.
Yep.
Delete.
Exactly.
Pull it up. This one's good. Sweet.
Instead of trying to figure out, like, well, what does this profile mean? Like, could this person be a good fit? Like, I like the numeric base of it, of, you know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. Like you said, sevens or above, cool, I'll call you. Anything below 7, probably never going to call you.
Yeah.
It's clarity. Again, it's clarity. Just
Yeah. Yep. Exactly.
I like what you said. So I think the bigger picture of this is that you do have clarity of your vision of where you want to take the agency. That's why you're reinvesting in new staff. That's why. So I think clarity of vision of where you want to go needs to be nailed. And I think people a lot of times are hoping and wishing doesn't get you anywhere. It's, you got to take the steps to get there. And I think a lot of agents, like, they're like, oh, I want to do this, but I'll stay, you know, or whatever. And there's all these factors, but it's like, dude, where do you really want to go? Like if you want to go, reverse engineer it.
Yep.
And we got to take a hit right away.
Yeah. Yeah. You're always going to have an initial upfront investment. It is what it is, but you know, small action. So I don't know if you guys ever listen to Grant Cardone or anything like that, but you know, I like his stuff. And so he always talks about, you know, there's 4 types of action. There's no action, there's retreat, there's average amounts, and massive action. You know, and he's like, and the most dangerous action is average amounts, because you actually think you're doing stuff and really you're just wasting time. You know, but like, whereas no action, like, okay, you didn't do anything, so you don't expect a return. And retreat, like, you're just kind of worthless anyway. So, but average action is the most dangerous thing you can do. So like, if you need to do anything, take massive action, you know, and that's like, that's what I'm trying to focus on now, is just, if you're going to do it, just do it big. Go big or go home.
Yep.
So.
Dude, it's what happens when the owner is disengaged. Is that average action happens. The employees will typically, and you know, Stephanie's a little different than a typical employee because she's pretty much like an agent, but most employees in general, and it's no offense to them, it's just human nature, will start to slide towards the average, right? You pump them up. If you do that seagull management where you come in, you know, yell at them and take off, then you know, maybe you get some response right when you had the meeting, but then it's like, beep, we're moving back towards the average. Yeah. And they'll slide to what they perceive as something easier, even though they're really not getting any results from doing that. Right. Yep. Whether it's how they sell or how they make the calls. I mean, I had an example here where I looked at the process. I was like, man, you're not hitting the whole cancellation audit. Let's look at it. And we drilled down and it turned out she's looking up, you know, she's looking before she calls each number, looking up, checking the billing. And I said, well, so how many of the people that you call do you actually get a hold of? 1 in 10.
Right.
So, but you're checking before on each call. So how long does that take? Oh, only a few minutes. Okay. Let's say it's 3 minutes. You know, 3 minutes times 10 is 30 minutes, but you only got a hold of one of them. So you spent 30 minutes prepping for one person.
Right.
And she's like, oh, I didn't think of it like that. Right. It's like, well, why don't you just do it as you're calling them?
Right. What does it matter?
I mean, why does it matter?
I mean, the numbers aren't going to change if you look at it before you call or during the call. Like they are what, I mean, they might, if it's an alliance, they'll probably change. Those change, like, you know, but
but it's that, you know, just simplifying. And then they go, oh, that is a better way. Right. But it's so critical for us to provide that support, because sometimes they just don't think of it like that.
Yeah.
And we're numbers people.
Yeah.
You know?
One of my favorite.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, one of my favorite things to do is we have a dialer for Russian roulette, and it's everybody. And we just run through a dialer. And when you get them on the phone, say, hey, thanks for being with us. Start a normal conversation. And then while you're on the conversation, see what you know, any gaps or anything they need. Like, you don't have to know. It doesn't have to be, oh, we're looking at, you know, monoline autos that, you know what I mean? It's like, who cares? Like, everybody needs something. We have a ton of crap we can hawk.
Yeah.
Well, and
a ton of protection.
We all know the only way to have an effective conversation is for them to like you, right? So that first part of the call has to be what Jason's saying. You're talking to a buddy. Hey, how's it going? What are you calling about? You know, like I like it where it goes, where you take it as long as you can until they say, wait, why did you call? You know, like that. Yes. Then it's like, oh, I totally forgot I was having so much fun.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
I mean, How much better is that than,
I like
hey,
that.
this is Heather calling from Allstate. We want to go over your policy. Is this a good
Right.
time? Vomit. Who wants to go over their policies?
Yep.
Nobody wants to have anything to do with their insurance.
That's
Right.
what I tell
Well,
everybody.
Here's the secret, and this is one of the things that we're teaching. So we're getting ready. I'm hosting a live event right here in Ohio with the tribe, and it's going to be amazing. But that's one of the big things that we've been teaching and preaching is, just on that initial answer, how many times, and I listen to phone calls a lot from other agents, where I'm trying to help maybe figure out where they're going wrong with their internet leads, and they're like, hey, is this Craig? Right. And if somebody calls and says that to you, hey, is this Jason? Immediately, what does your mind tell you? Oh, salesperson.
I say no.
Call.
Nope.
How am I going to get off this call?
Right. Yeah. You're immediately, oh, it's a salesperson. Right. And so, but yeah, you might be wrong every once in a while, but if you answer and I'm just like, hey, Jason, hey, man, how's it going? And you're just like, yeah, yeah, this is Jay, and so people are like, well, what if you're wrong? Then you're wrong. Who cares?
Who
What I mean?
cares? That's the
Right.
what ifs are horrible. Who cares?
Yeah, but it immediately catches them off guard because they're like, oh, is this a friend? Oh, this person knows me. You know what I mean? And so you're kind of already in before they even catch up to realize why you're calling. And then Craig, just like you said, man, that's exactly their next response is like, hey, wait, why were you calling? Like, where are you from again? And we're like, oh, we're from Allstate. And they're like, oh, but it's already too late. We're already down the rabbit hole. Like we're off and running.
Like you.
It's
Yeah.
so
Like
funny.
that they're not going to hang up on you.
Right.
We-
Exactly.
I heard your script, and it's so similar to ours. We have the exact same thought process, and that's it. And when I tell other people, especially because it's different per state, per county, right? Everybody greets somebody different, but literally take how you call your buddy and say that right off the bat,
Right.
sound and tone and everything else. That's the simplicity of it is that. And if you do that with internet leads, you're going to win. And then it's assuming the quote, you just keep going. Don't ask.
Right.
Hey, do you want a quote? I know I sure don't want a quote.
Right. Yeah. No, I'm good.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Is this a good time to go over your quote?
No,
Right.
never.
Yep. So, and to that point, here's a neat little game you can play for anybody that, wants to look into building a better script to get a hold of people. Have all of your staff call 5 of their friends from your VoIP system. So it's all recorded, right?
Love it.
Have each one person just be like, call 5 of your friends and just ask them, whatever.
What they're
Ask
doing
them
this
what their
weekend.
plans are for the weekend, right? And then go back and listen to the intro on every single call, because if you have 4 producers and they each call 5 friends, you have 20 intros. Listen to how all 20 intros start, and like you said, depending on where you're from, they're going to be really similar. If you're from down south and stuff, I mean, it might be like, hey, howdy, my friend, or something. I don't know, whatever they say.
Right.
Whereas if you're, if you're Boston or whatever, you know what I mean? You're gonna,
God.
Right. Yeah. If you're Boston, you got to have gunshots in the background and stuff, right? I mean, that's how they roll up there. So it's, but yeah. So, listen to the way that your staff talks to their friends and then build your script around that, because you want the person you're talking to be a friend.
Yep. And when it comes to internet leads, the damage is in the details, because they're getting blown up by so many people. If you're aggregating your own, it's a different story, but still there's nobody wants to deal with this. That's the bottom line. So you have to leverage whatever you can to make them want to deal with it.
Yeah.
And that's you.
And the thing that I was saying, the thing that we have being, also being with Allstate and stuff, the thing that you have is Geico and your call centers. They don't get that because their call centers aren't probably in your same state. You know what I mean? You've got somebody from here, if I put in a quote, because in FYI, if you're not having your staff do this, you're crazy. Have your staff get quotes from other carriers,
Right.
because your staff needs to see what they're saying. And so whenever we put in a quote request from Geico, it's somebody from North Carolina calls us. So I'm thinking that might be where their call center is at, but you can tell they're not from Ohio. And it's so wait a second, you know, and so leverage that dynamic and be where you're from. Don't sound like a call center that's from on the other side of the country.
Right.
There's one here in Tucson too.
Is there? Okay.
I do the ECP. I think I'm going to park a car out in front and just have a big banner across it.
Right. Now hiring.
Now hiring. Do you hate your call center?
Dude, just do like me. So I'm telling you, I run my hiring ads, and because we have Progressive's World Headquarters is right here in my backyard. And I literally, so I'll go on Facebook and I run my ads and I drop a pin right on Progressive's call center. And I target anybody that inside of that circle. And so that way, when anybody's sitting at work and they jump on Facebook, they see my ads. And we get a ton of people. Yeah, we get a ton of, so yeah, if you've got a guy called call center or something like that, man, just drop a pin right on top of it with your ads and blow it up. Put like $100 a day on that thing. You'll kill it. I mean, it's easy for me to get 65 applications a day from Progressive's call center.
What percent do the assessment?
We're at maybe about 25, 30%.
Yeah, that's good though. You got 60, you got 20 viable candidates
that are already licensed, have insurance experience, are good on the phones, can pump out
how to talk to people, right?
Yeah, sometimes.
You're right. They may not have the right words coming out, but they do know how to talk to people, right? Because Progressive is not bringing anybody on that sounds like a moron. So no offense to morons.
No, yeah. But
Eric, what would be your number one piece of advice that you would give any agent that is feeling lost or, might have that mindset of there's not.
Yeah. So what's that? It was slow a little bit, but I think I got the gist of it.
Okay.
So hopefully I'm not repeating him because I know you guys talked to Tolga. So hopefully this was stolen from him. Best advice I ever got in my life. So but this is what I did, and this is how I found my clarity. Okay. So I put 4 giant pieces of paper on the wall. Oh, hold on a second. Let me shut my phone off. Look, rude, fail, party fail.
Rico ring right there. I know that ring.
Away. My bad. Sorry about that. Jeez, shut up. All right. So anyway, put 4 big pieces of paper up on your wall, and you got to get good at this. So you have to do it like every single week for like the first couple months, and then it'll start to become second nature. At the top of those pieces of paper, write one word. Right. So you should be focusing as an agency owner on 4 areas every single day: recruit, train, motivate, make it rain. That's it. So before you do any single action, write down on one of those pieces of paper where that action falls into. Recruit, train, motivate, make it rain, right? So every single day you should take some time to recruit. Every single day you should train the people that you recruited. You should motivate the people that you trained and make it rain for all your rock star staff, right? That's it. That is your job as an agency owner. So if what you're doing doesn't fit on one of those pieces of paper, don't do it. Delegate it out, give it to somebody else, get it off your plate. But stop wasting your time on crap that doesn't matter. It needs to fit in one of those 4 categories.
So much crap that doesn't matter. That's so easy to jump in that lane.
Right? Like emails, I'm not going to lie. Emails are the biggest productivity killer. And agents are like, I spend 3 hours a day chasing my 1,000 emails that we get from Allstate and everybody else. Do those do anything for you? No. Why aren't you having your service staff answer your emails then? Because most of them are service related anyway. Right? So designate one person to answer your emails for you. If there's something important, they'll let you know.
Aren't you just supposed to push Control A and then delete?
I know, right? Ugh. So FYI, Stephanie's first day with me, she's like, hey, I'm going to go through your emails. I'm like, cool. So she opens it up and she's kind of OCD, right? So I have 11,000 unread emails. She's like, I'm going to stroke. So she's like, those will be gone by the end of the day. I'm like, I have at it. And, yeah, so it was bad. So yeah, feel free to ask her about that. She'll probably fall over because she's not having it. So, but so there you go. That would be my biggest piece of advice, right?
When did you implement that? And how did it change? How fast was the change?
So I started doing that probably November of last year. And so here, case in point. So really, it took me until about January to get good at it. Because, you know, a lot of times you just take off and you forget before you do the action to list it, right? Not only that, but you'll see also what you do in a day. If you list every single action, you'll see what you do. So by January, I got pretty good at it. And I mean, we're up growth wise. So our market's harder this year. I would venture to say, talking to other Ohio agents, everybody agrees our market's a little tougher. We took some rate increases, but we're already up 63% over what we were last year at this time with half the staff.
Nice. Congratulations.
Yeah. That's
So,
awesome.
you know what I mean? So again, measurable analytics that you can actually look at and be like, okay, I'm doing something right.
And I cut you off on the last part and then just cut you off again. But you said with half the staff. I mean,
yeah,
that's enormous.
Yeah.
Enormous.
Yep.
Right? Look at the productivity increase by implementing these things. And then that cost, right? Now your expenses have gone down. Or even if it stays the same because you're making it rain for them, right?
Right.
Huge. How much happier and how much longer are they staying? Right.
Yeah.
When they're making twice as much.
Yep, exactly. You know, you pay a staff $6,000-$7,000 a month. Yeah, they're going to be staying with you a lot more than a staff that, you know, that are struggling and getting by with $1,700, $1,800 a month.
Yeah. It's no good for anybody.
Yep. So yeah, I mean, that's it. You know, just be very purposeful in what you do and very careful and stop wasting time. Like we waste so much time.
So true. This is the only industry, like I used to work in restaurant. I love the restaurant business and I love how fast paced it is. And like, I'm like, I love it. Like, I love that. And then I got into insurance and I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is it's like a freaking turtle. Right. And it's like, there's all this stuff that's just, it takes a long time. And it's so easy to fall into this like mundane, like,
yep. Right. And that's it. But you know what? You got to make it fun. And if you're starting to burn out and you're getting into that where it's like, people don't like going to work. In all honesty, this is kind of the truth. People don't like going to work because you don't work enough. Right. And as dumb as that is to sound, like if you work harder and more, you'll have more fun because all of a sudden it's no longer just going to a job. Now it's like a lifestyle. You know what I mean? And so now you're just like kind of coming in and you're just living life rather than like, I have to go to work for 8 hours and you sit there and watch the clock. Like, dude, I get up at 5 a.m. and I start my routine and it's the same every single morning. And generally, I mean, I don't really watch the clock, but I get to the office anywhere between 8:30 and 9:30, just depending if I get into my workout, maybe it's feeling good. I might go for an extra hour or something, who knows? But generally, so I'll get into the office 8:30 to 9:30 and dude, I just work until I don't want to work anymore, you know, which is generally 8 o'clock at night. And I'm like, all right, cool. I'm done. I'm out. Go eat dinner with the family, you know, watch some America's Got Talent and, you know, hey, call it a night.
There you go.
So
that's it though. I mean, sorry, to go back to what I was saying, it can be like that and it will be like that unless you make a conscious decision to push yourself. I think everybody's expectations of what can happen is ridiculously low. And I think when you do push yourself and you push your staff, it's going to make the vibe way better because it's like, holy crap, I can't believe I did this. Right. Mm-hmm. And then it's also the time's flying by. Like people want to stay later because it's like, oh, I just want to get this last policy in. It's like,
right.
It's a whole different vibe.
Yeah. And that's the big thing too, is I changed the culture in my sales center. Everybody had individual offices, scrap that. So I just added, I don't know, I think some people started commenting on it. So I added a hammock swing and beanbag chairs and stand-up desks. And it's like, you know what I mean? Like I can hear their,
I can hipster
playing through the wall. I can actually feel the bass on my wall right here from their speakers over there in the sales center. But yeah, so they're over there having a good time. You know, I mean, they just have fun and it is what it is. So just let them do their thing. Hey, wait a second.
Awesome.
I was on a way. I don't know why I did that. I gotta put in a ticket.
It bounces you off if you get a call in.
Oh, it must have been.
So that's what happens if staff does that when they're like on a break, then it'll pull them off. And then, if you have an outside people doing calls for you, it can be a little frustrating.
Oh, gotcha. All right. Yeah, it happens.
This is awesome, man. We are up against the wall here. Any famous words?
Just tell Stephanie that I won't get to see her podcast, and that way you guys can ask her stuff about me, and I'll be able to watch it later and see what she really feels.
Then we'll get you back on, and it'll be like a Jerry Springer type thing. Maybe we should do that.
I could sneak in like on the screen, but yeah, it'd be like
both of them on, and just really, have them duke it out.
Yeah, you know what though? She's, being from down south, man, she's tough. She'd probably beat me up. It's fine. Whatever.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome.
Eric.
So, you can watch it on the visual is on YouTube.
Yeah.
When we get it on there, and then iTunes, Spotify, and what's the other one? Google Play. Don't even know what that is, but it's there. So
yep. I've been watching because I had to watch Anthony's on Spotify. Heck yeah, man.
Yeah, nice.
So that's my boy. Got to see how my competition's doing down there in Texas.
Right on, man. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, guys, love what you're doing. It was a blast having being on again. So
love watching your energy, dude. It's awesome. Positive. Like I love the agents that are super positive, process oriented, and just want to crush it. Like
that's it. It's the name of the game, right?
That's it. It's fun.
Find the opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't worry about the challenge. It's like boom, just move to the opportunity.
Yep, exactly. So, guys, it was great, man. Thanks for having me again, and let me know whatever I can do to be of service later on.
Thanks, buddy.
Thanks, Eric. Same with us, man.
Yeah, absolutely. See you guys. All right, bye-bye.
See ya.
Your Insurance Dudes podcast is sponsored by Agency Vault, an industry leader in agency coaching, hiring and retaining top talent, and sales training with the 7-step trusted advisor sales framework. Are you up for the challenge? For $99, you'll get 28 days of access and an opportunity to join our private platinum coaching group. For more information, navigate to www.agencyvault.com.
Hey, thanks for checking out the Insurance Dudes. Hey, please subscribe. We got some really great stuff coming out.